Hey, well, we were gonna go swimming today, but we're not. Then I thought about taking Raymond, but no, I actually need to work, so I'm not going to without Aiden. We'll just go swimming another time. Okay, yesterday, I got home like I guess almost midnight, and my husband goes, because I didn't notice Aiden was gone. Apparently he had to go back to work. Okay, he worked 6 to 2, like 2:30, right? And then literally, I guess apparently the guy that gets migraines couldn't work, and he was supposed to close, right? And so they had to put someone in, so they asked Aiden to come back in, and he did. So he had to work basically like 4:30, I think he said, is when he got there, all the way to 1 a.m. So I was like, oh my God, I gotta stay up, just get Aiden, and I thought, man, that poor kid, And then he had to work on his day off from 2 to 6 p.m. because, I mean, it's a legitimate reason that they need the extra help right now, because one of their co-workers had a medical issue with their family member, and it's going to take maybe 1 or 2 or 3 weeks to get this stuff squared out. So that person is going to be off the schedule for 3 weeks. And their crew, like I said, their crew is really limited, and Aiden, he's not going to come in on Tuesday. We're looking at his schedule because I thought, oh shit, I just know it. So we know they're probably counting on him to come in at 2 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. on Tuesday. He said no. They're going to have to find someone else to do it, or else I guess the manager is going to have to stay later. I mean, it's not like he likes doing that, but it was one of the reasons he took these shifts too, so he doesn't feel guilty for having to say, I'm sorry, I'm not coming in, not till 5, because we already bought the tickets. Like, if I hadn't bought the tickets, he would have probably come in, okay? He wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But we had to buy the tickets in advance because it is a tiny theater that they have the movie in, and it's almost out of theater. So that, that's the reason I knew I was not sitting in the front row like I did, like I would have had to do the last time. That's why I was like, we're buying them. Your schedule actually worked out, so we're happy about it. And then this happened. So yeah, oh shit, oh yeah, I'm like, where am I going? Oh yeah, now I know I'm going. But I couldn't believe it. So yeah, so I'm going to start trying to work when he works at 2 o'clock and keep working, because I need to, like I said, I have to make all the money still. I didn't do too bad yesterday. I made $190 in some sense trips, and 20 something tips for supposedly today, which would be, if that's even, like I said, I don't know. I took a picture of it to see if by the end of tomorrow I see that the tips actually equal what it says, because sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's very confusing. It looks like, what the hell? It doesn't match up. And so yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't trust the tips that they say they're going to give you. If you're counting on it, you're fucked, so that's why you're better off not counting on it, because odds are you're not going to get all of it, or you could get all of it, or you could get more. Because I have noticed that there's a couple times like it goes up a couple dollars more than it said, so apparently some people might have been happy or whatever, and I don't know. So like I said, I don't know how they do the tips. I don't know how they decide that stuff, except that you can only go with what they tell you, right? And anyway, and like I said, that 24 hours gives them so much time to people forget, not remember, kind of think, oh, maybe it was around this much, but I don't know for sure, it's such a hassle in the ass. Plus, like, when you get it, it's not like that, you get, let's say that one trip was supposed to be $15. It might be 3 something here, 4 something there, $5 and something there to equal that $15, because you might have had 3 trips or 2 people that you had to deliver to in that one trip. And so the tips are split whatever they gave, right? So, because I was like, I was like, oh my God, this is 2 something, right? But it's because there was a combination of tips equaling whatever the amount was supposed to be. And that's why I say it's just too complicated to deal with. Anyway, but, I don't know. So that's why most of the time I don't even worry about what the hell the tips are, I was like, whatever. But yeah, I thought, hell yeah, at least I made $190 in some sense, considering I had to stop sometimes, and I didn't work like, I forgot. I did that last GMD and then I quit because then I started talking to somebody. But and I just couldn't concentrate, and whatever. At the same time, I just was whatever. Plus at the same time I had to go to my mother-in-law's house to get she made me a cake and gave me some gifts for my birthday. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I didn't get to her house like 11 o'clock. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm so late. Oh. And but yeah, we were discussing freedom, and I have to admit, I don't have a problem with the freedom part. Shit, did I just pass the Dollar General? No, I have not passed it yet. Because I definitely feel like I've been free. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, even though money is such a big freaking issue, and having a job is kind of an issue, they say, like, if you have your money in different pots, it really does help. You know what I mean? So, like, let's say even your main job doesn't feel like you have to, worry as much. Like, you can say, you know what? I don't have to put up with your shit. That's it. Goodbye, Like a lot of people might have to, You do have that kind of freedom and that little bit lapse in life, I mean, so I definitely, even though unfortunately all my income right now is tied into my driving, which probably isn't good, even though it's different incomes of the driving, I know I do need to find other sources of income to match up, even like I said, even a W-2 job, maybe part-time, do whatever I want kind of thing, because I still feel like they're all kind of connected, I mean? That's like one job doing the delivery apps, So that's why I'm like, that's not good, like, there needs to be more, Oh, there's the dog journal. But, yeah. So that part, I do have some freedom, even though like I said, I feel like I'm working all the time because that's a problem. There's no benefits to working these jobs. You just make what you make, and you have to deal with all the shit you have to deal with, and no one's giving you vacation time. No one's paying you to be sick, but and I was thinking about this too, because Aiden, he literally should have vacation time. I don't even know if they even do, if you have sick days, you could get paid for being sick. Because I was thinking about that. I want to say it was yesterday, and I was thinking, damn, he's got it really rough. Because imagine that that these jobs, like McDonald's and stuff like that, because they're considered part-time, like technically Aiden works enough that his boss said you could get insurance, right? Which he didn't, because they never really followed up on that. And I mean, I don't know, he hasn't really done anything, because I think he's still in the, I don't know, he doesn't know what to do, right, kind of thing. But yeah, and I thought, man, that sucks, because let's imagine that he now we're dead, he's on his own, he stays at Subway, he doesn't mind because he's got his thing all steady. But let's say he gets sick for 2 weeks, that's no paycheck coming for 2 weeks. And then I was thinking, this is why people say you need an emergency fund, right? You need, like, so not just for if you lose your job, but if you get sick for 2 weeks, if you get something serious, and let's say your job doesn't have any damn benefits, you are your own benefits. You have to cover your ass, right? I have to cover my ass for those slow months that come in that we may not be making a lot of money. If I want to, if someone dies in the family and I need to take off for a week, you know what I mean? Or a day or 2 week, I know that varies, right? Those are the things I've been thinking about, and I thought about for my kid too. But that's the sad part, I think, in real life, because that's where, let's say Walmart is kind of good, because you know how to use your PTO, you can use your PTO, your PPTO, you know what I mean? The benefits do help, in a job. It really does help. Just like sometimes having insurance helps, right? Even if they're crappy insurance, still think, I don't want to give my check away to my dad for insurance. Who the hell wants to do that? If you have to give them $200 of your check, let's just say it's just $200 every paycheck, that's a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? If you're making $500, like, in a paycheck, which I think that's what we were making. I wouldn't say that. I think I made close to, let's say we made $800 on a paycheck, right? For 2 weeks. 400, let's say 800. And they take out 200. It means you're short with $600 to make it for that 2 weeks, right? And you know how shit adds up. And most of the time, insurance doesn't cover shit all the time, so you have to pay for, you still have co-pays and deductibles and God knows what, you know, that you have to pay extra on top of your damn insurance that's coming out every damn 2 months. And it's not like you go to the doctor every damn week, but you might. But if you don't, could you imagine you're paying, giving them, let's say, $400 a month, and then not using it for, like, say, 3 months? Jesus, you know? And I thought, well, yeah, you could save $200 yourself, but no, that's the problem. People don't save. That's why we have car insurance. I think that's why we have health insurance and shit like that, because we don't save. People don't put that money back that they have to give to someone else. And plus, let's say you do that, but let's say your bill is $5,000, and you know it would take a hell of a lot of money at $200 a paycheck to earn $5,000 to pay for whatever the hell procedure that you might be paying, right? And then you're fudged, right? I mean, like, that's why I guess they say insurance is kind of helpful, right? Because then if you, my mother-in-law's surgery, she just said, was like $20,000. She didn't have to pay that. But, she does have to pay other stuff. She had to pay other stuff before then. But yeah, could you imagine $20,000 for one procedure? You know? I'd be fucked. I would literally be fucked. You know? And then some. You know, it'd be like, and then that's the problem with, that's why people are like, our life or death things, right? If your insulin costs $500 a month, you know what I mean? That's like rent. Well, not even rent. That's not even rent. Because that, once upon a time, that was rent. Now it's $1,000 was rent, right? So fudge. You know, it's half your rent. That's, you know, like I said, my electric is like $400. So now, right now, it's $300 and something. But I remember when it was over $400, and then, you know, the inflation, and then it was like I said, luckily it's gone down to almost like 300, and let's just say, I don't know, I can't remember. I think it's over 350, but it's less than 400. Like, I'm thinking 369, something like that. So that's, you know, it's still a lot of freaking money. You know, and I remember when it was only $200 freaking dollars. It wasn't that long ago that it was like $200. So, you know what I'm saying? And now I know how those poor rich people feel when they're like, my electric bill is $500. Like, you know what I mean? They're making a lot more money than me. But still, I can't even fucking imagine. Because I'm like, great, now my electric bill's as high as theirs, practically worse. You know, when it was over $400, almost $500, yeah. I remember thinking, damn, now I know how they feel. Except that I make probably a lot less than they do. Fucked. You know, I'm fucked. But we managed to pay it every damn month. We managed it. And like I said, I always feel like, yeah, utilities was pretty damn crucial. I wanted water. I wanted my AC to work. You know? So I was like, yeah, those are the mandatory shit that you have to pay every damn month. And I was okay with paying it. To have that damn necessity. But I wasn't expecting my bills to be triple what they used to be, and that is the honest truth. It's like triple. If you think about it, it's fucking practically. Because like I said, water, let's say water was $50. It is almost $200 now, okay? That varies. So it's never hit, well, I'll say it's never hit 200. But there's definitely times it was like, most of the time it's 150 to 200, like let's say 160, 180, 190. So I mean, fudge, you know. And water should not cost more than like $50. You figure maybe 100 at the most, you know. Shit. And then you got your gas bill, which lucky for me, since our gas doesn't actually work in our damn house, it's $20 a damn month. So lucky us. Okay, now I gotta go put some money in on this card app, so I'm gonna quit talking. But yeah, I said I definitely feel like I can just do what I want, semi. But yeah, there is a price to pay with anything, you know. I don't have the same stress of that this job is my life or I'm fucked, you know. And I think it is my life or I'm fucked. But I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? I just feel like I feel like I have options. You know, I don't feel tied down. And that's true with anything. Like if I wanted to, yes, I could travel. I don't feel like I'm stuck here. If I wanted to move, I could fucking move. You know, my husband doesn't want to move, and I'm okay staying with him. That's the reason I didn't mind. Like I thought I was gonna travel and I would just move around and blah blah blah, and I would live in Paris, and you know what I mean. I didn't want to migrate and stay in one place like a lot of people do, but I have no problem with it. And I'm actually, now that I'm old, I don't want to do it at all. But if I want to take a trip, I will take one, right? I will take one. Obviously, I just don't want to enough to do it, you know? But I have plans, you know? I have plans. Anyway, I don't know. So I just like, at least that part of my life is good, you know? Like I said, I'm not stuck. I definitely don't feel stuck, you know? The things that I do and the choices I make, they are my choices. That is the truth. You know what I mean? I'm not like literally like, oh my God. Because if I wanted to make a change, I would make a change. That is what I realized. You know what I mean? That's why I said I choose not to leave my husband. I choose to stay with him. And it's not because I feel like I'm stuck. It's because I want to. I literally want to. You know? And that's the truth. Alright.